Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakarasadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhira Pipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayaktaksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamalya Vamshi Ratnagadam Pranayakeli Kalaksam Shamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitamatchutamanadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cham Vedeshu Durlabhamadurlabhamatma Bhaktam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Panthastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyam Vayorathapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam Sopyasti Yat Prapadasimnya Vichintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopyaso Rachayutum Jagadanda Koti Yat Shaktirasti Jagadanda Chaya Yadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yadbhava Bhavita Diyo Manujastathaiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Shanayana Bhusha Sukteryameva Nigama Pratitestu Banti Govindamadi Purusham Mi Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhirvyaiva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka eva nivasatya khilatma bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjanachurita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaramachintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Sabhavavat Paramapomanyam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shvashesha Vasudhadhi Vibhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhuntam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya hi yasya jagadan Sute Traigunya tad Vishaya Veda Vitayamanam Sattvavalambhi Parasatvam Ashuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmadaya Manasu Yaha Praninam Pratifalam Smaratam Upetya लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत्यजस्रम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि कनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्यां देवी महेश हरिधाम शुतेषु तेषु ते प्रभावनिचया विहितश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य स चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि क्षीरं यथा दधि विकारविशेषयोगान् संजायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतो यः शम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्याद् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पाचिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्यान् दीपायिते विवृतहेतुसमानधर्मान् यस्ताद्रयेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः कारणानवजले भजति स्म योगान् निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपान् आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं पुरुषं भजामि यस्य सितकालमथावलम्ब्यां जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथा विष्णुर्महान् स इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भास्वान् यथाश्मशकलेषु निजेषु तेजा स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत्यपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्माय एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भां द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये स गणाधिराजां विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्मही गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयानि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेषतेजा यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोऽथ पापनिचया श्रुतयस्तपंसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावदयश्च जीवा यद्धत्तमत्र विभवा प्रकटा प्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्त्विन्द्रगोपमथविन्द्रमहो स्वकर्मान् बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहजा प्रणयाधिभीति सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावे सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रिया कान्तः परमपुरुषा कल्पतरवो भूमिश्चिन्तामणि गणमयी तोयममृतं कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी Chidanandam jyoti paramapi tadaswadhyamapi cham sayatra kshiradbhi shravati surabhi yascha sumahan nimeshardhakyo va vrajati nahi yatrapi samaya bhaje shvetam dvipam tamaham iha golokamitiyam vidhantaste santa shiti viralachara katipe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Translation? Oh, okay. We can listen. Translation is in this only? No, it's in this.
Generally, like 5 reports each person. Rotate.
Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. The spiritual place of transcendental pastimes of Krishna is portrayed in the second verse. The super excellent station of Krishna, which is known as Goloka, has thousands of petals and a coral like that of lotus sprouted from a part of his infinitary aspect, the whole of the leaves being the actual abode of Krishna. The whole of that transcendental lotus is the realm wherein dwells Krishna. It is a hexagonal figure, the abode of indwelling predominance and predominating aspect of the Absolute. Like a diamond, the central supporting figure of self-luminous Krishna stands as the transcendental source of all potencies. The holy name, consisting of 18 transcendental letters, is manifested in a hexagonal figure with 6-fold divisions. The whole of that eternal realm, Gokul, is the hexagonal abode of Krishna. Its petals are the abode of gopis, who are part and parcel of Krishna, to whom they are most lovingly devoted and are similar in essence. The petals shine beautifully like so many walls. The extended leaves of that lotus are the garden-like dham, the spiritual abode of Sri Radhika, the most beloved of Krishna. The surrounding external plane of Gokul is described in this verse. There is a mysterious quadrangular place named Shvetadipa surrounding the outskirts of Gokul. Shvetadipa is divided into 4 parts on all sides. The abode of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are separately located in each of these 4 parts. These 4 divided abodes are enveloped by the 4-fold human requirements such as piety, wealth, passion and liberation, as also the 4 Vedas, Rig, Sam, Yajur and Atharva, which deal with the mantra and which are the basis of achievements of the 4-fold mundane requirements. 10 tridents are fixed in the 10 directions, including the zenith and nadir. The 8 directions are decorated with the 8 jewels of Mahapadma, Padma, Shankha, Makaram, Kachapa, Mukunda, Kunda and Nila. There are 10 protectors, Digpalas of the 10 directions in the form of mantra. The associates of the hue of blue, yellow, red and white and the extraordinary potencies bearing the names of Vimala shine on all sides.
The Lord of Gokula is the transcendental supreme Godhead, the own self of eternal ecstasies. He is the superior of all superiors and is busily engaged in the enjoyments of the transcendental realm and has no association with his mundane potency. Krishna never consorts with his illusory energy. Still, her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. When he intends to create the material world, the amorous pastime in which he engages by consorting with his own spiritual chit potency, Rama, by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy, is an auxiliary activity. The secondary process of association with Maya is described. Rama Devi, the spiritual chit potency, beloved consort of the Supreme Lord, is the regulatrix of all entities. The divine plenary portion of Krishna creates the mundane world. At creation, there appears a divine halo of the nature of his own subjective portion, Swamcha. This halo is divine Shambhu, the masculine symbol of manifested emblem of the Supreme Lord. This halo is the dim twilight reflection of the supreme eternal effulgence. This masculine symbol is the subjective portion of divinity, who functions as progenitor of the mundane world, subject to the supreme regulatrix Niyati. The conceiving potency in regard to mundane creation makes her appearance out of the supreme regulatrix. She is Maya, the limited, non-absolute apara potency, the symbol of mundane feminine productivity. The intercourse of these two brings forth the faculty of perverted cognition, the reflection of the seed of the procreative desire of the Supreme Lord. All offspring of the consort of the great Lord Maheshwara of this mundane world are of the nature of the embodiment of the mundane masculine and feminine generative organs. The person embodying the material causal principle with the great Lord of this mundane world, Maheshwara Shambhu, in the form of the male generating organ, is joined to his female consort, the limited energy Maya, as the efficient causal principle. The Lord of the world, Mahavishnu, is manifest in him by his subjective portion in the form of his glance.
The Lord of the mundane world, Mahavishnu, possesses thousands of heads, eyes, hands. He is the source of thousands of avatars in his thousands of subjective portions. He is the creator of thousands of individual souls. The same Mahavishnu is spoken of by the name of Narayana in this mundane world. From that eternal person has sprung the vast expanse of water of the spiritual causal ocean. The subjective portion of Sankarshana, who abides in Paravyoma, the above Supreme Purusha with thousands of subjective portions, reposes in the state of divine sleep, Yoga Nidra, in the waters of the spiritual causal ocean. The spiritual seeds of Sankarshana, existing in the pores of skin of Mahavishnu, are born as so many golden sperms. These sperms are covered with 5 great elements. The same Mahavishnu entered into each universe as his own separate subjective portions. The divine portions that entered into each universe are possessed of his majestic extension, that is, they are the eternal universal soul Mahavishnu, possessing thousands of heads. The same Mahavishnu created Vishnu from his left limb, Brahma, the first progenitor of beings, from his right limb, and from the space between his 2 eyebrows, Shambhu, the divine masculine manifested halo.
The function of Shambhu in relation to jivas is that This universe, enshrining the mundane egotistic principle, has originated from Shambhu. Thereupon, the same great personal Godhead, assuming the threefold forms of Vishnu, Prajapati, and Shambhu, entering into the mundane universe, placed the pastimes of preservation, creation, and destruction of this world. This pastime is contained in the mundane world. Hence, it being perverted, the Supreme Lord, identical with Mahavishnu, prefers to consort with the goddess Yoga Nidra, the constituent of his own spiritual Chit, potency, full of the ecstatic trance of eternal bliss, appertaining to his own divine personality. When Vishnu, lying in the ocean of milk, wills to create this universe, a golden lotus springs from his navel pit. The golden lotus, with its stem in the abode of Brahma, representing Brahma Loka or Satya Loka. Before their conglomeration, the primary elements in their nascent state remained originally separate entities. Non-application of the conglomerating process is the cause of their separate existence. Divine Mahavishnu, primal Godhead, through association with his own spiritual Chit potency, moved Maya, and by the application of the conglomerating principle, created those different entities in the state of cooperation. And after that, he himself consorted with Yoga Nidra by way of his eternal dalliance with his spiritual Chit potency. By conglomerating all those separate entities, he manifested the innumerable mundane universes and himself entered into the inmost recess of every extended conglomerate, Virat Vigraha. At that time, those jivas who had lain dormant during the catalysis were awakened.
Page 36.
The same jiva is eternal and is for eternity and without a beginning. Joined to the Supreme Lord by the tie of an eternal kinship, he is transcendental spiritual potency. The divine lotus, which springs from the navel pit of Vishnu, is in every way related by the spiritual tie with all souls and is the origin of four-faced Brahma, versed in the four Vedas. On coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, turned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions, but he could see nothing but darkness in every direction. Then the goddess of learning, Saraswati, the divine consort of the Supreme Lord, said thus to Brahma, who saw nothing but gloom in all directions, "O Brahma, this mantra, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Jana Vallabhyahaya Swaha will assuredly fulfill your heart's desire. O Brahma, do thou practice spiritual association by means of this mantra, then all your desires will be fulfilled."
Brahma, being desirous of satisfying Govinda, practiced the cultural acts for Krishna and Goloka, the Lord of Shvetadipa, for a long time. His meditation ran thus: there exists a divine lotus of 1,000 petals, augmented by millions of filaments, in the transcendental land of Goloka. On its wall there exists a great divine throne on which is seated Sri Krishna, the form of eternal effulgence of transcendental bliss, playing on his divine flute resonant with the divine sound with his lotus mouth. He is worshipped by his amorous milkmaids with their respective subjective portions and extensions, and also by the external energy who stays outside, embodying all mundane qualities. Then Gayatri, mother of Vedas, being made manifest imparted by the divine sound of the flute of Sri Krishna, entered into the lotus mouth of Brahma, born from himself, through his 8 ear holes. The lotus-born Brahma, having received the Gayatri, sprung from the flute song of Sri Krishna, attained the status of twice born, having been initiated by the supreme primal preceptor, Godhead himself. Enlightened by the recollection of that Gayatri, embodying the 3 Vedas, Brahma became acquainted with the expanse of the ocean of truth. Then he worshipped Sri Krishna, the essence of all Vedas, with this hymn. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with the peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with the moon locket, whose 2 hands are adorned with the flute and jewel ornaments, who always reveals in pastimes of love, whose graceful 3-fold bending form of Shyamasundar is eternally manifest. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universe, both spiritual and mundane. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha, yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, on whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra shuktas told by the Vedas, by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency, possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Shakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamsundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Narsingha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads. Being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is the absolute substantive principle, being the ultimate entity in the form of the support of all existence, whose external potency embodies the threefold mundane qualities, sattva, rajas and tamas, and diffuses the Vedic knowledge regarding the mundane world. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes, being reflected in the mind of recollecting souls as a transcendental entity of ever blissful cognitive rasa. Lowest of all is located Devi Dham, mundane world. Next above it is Mahesh Dham, abode of Mahesha. Above Mahesha Dham is placed Hari Dham, abode of Hari, and above them all is located Krishna's own realm named Goloka. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who has allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of those created realms. The external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conduct herself. Just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, milk, so I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction.
The light of one candle being communicated to another candles, although it burns separately in them, is the same in its quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who, assuming his own great subjective form, who bears the name of Shesha, replete with the all-accommodating potency, and reposing in the causal ocean with the infinity of the world in the pores of his hair, enjoys creative sleep, Yoga Nidra. Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds, appearing from the pores of hair of Mahavishnu, remain alive as long as the duration of one exhalation of the latter, Mahavishnu. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whose subjective personality Mahavishnu is the portion of portion. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom the separated subjective portion, Brahma, receives his power for the regulation of the mundane world, just as the sun manifests some portion of his own light in all the effulgent gems that bear the names of Suryakanta, etc. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet are always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumuli protruding from his elephant head, in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all the obstacles on the path of progress of the three worlds.
The three worlds are composed of 9 elements: earth, water, ether, fire, air, direction, time, soul and mind. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom they originate, in whom they exist, and into whom they enter at the time of universal cataclysm. The sun, who is the king of all planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, by whose conferred power or manifest the manifested potencies that are found to exist of all virtues, all vices, the Vedas, the penances, and all jivas, from Brahma to the meanest insect. I adore the primeval Lord, Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruity activities of those who are imbued with devotion, and impartially ordains for each the due enjoyment of fruits of one's activities, of all those who walk on the path of work in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works, no less in the case of the tiny insect that bears the name of Indra Gopa than in that of Indra, the king of Devas. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, the meditators of whom, by meditating upon him under the sway of wrath, amorous passion, natural friendly love, fear, parental affection, delusion, reverence, and willing service, attain to the bodily forms befitting the nature of their contemplation.
I worship that transcendental seat known as Shwetadeep, whereas loving consorts the Lakshmis in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gait is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty, where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Golok only to a very few self-realized souls in the world. On hearing these hymns containing the essence of the truth, the Supreme Lord Krishna said to Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination to create offsprings by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to this science set forth in the following 5 shlokas. When the pure spiritual experience is excited by means of cognition and service, bhakti, super excellent unalloyed devotion characterized by love for Godhead is awakened towards Krishna, the beloved of all souls. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization with the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. These preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself.
Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. Listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed, that is the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. I am Pradhan, the substance of matter, I am Prakriti, material cause, and I am Purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs specially to the Brahman, that inheres in you, has also been conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects.
Smita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivjakacharya Shtotarashad Sri Srimad Abhay Charnavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivjakacharya Shtotarashad Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. I'll tell you once. We'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 11th chapter, text number 22. 6:11:22. Please repeat after me. Pumsam Kila Ekantadhyam Swakanam Ya Sampada Divi Bhumo Rasayam Na Rati Yat Tvesha Udvega Adi Mada Kale Vyasanam Samprayasa Pumsam Kilaikanta Diyam Swakanam Ya Sampado Dvibhumo Rasayam Narati Yadvesha Udvega Adhir Mada Kalir Vyasanam Samprayasha Pumsam Kilaikanta Divyam Swakanam Ya Sampado Divi Bhumo Rasayam Narati Yadvesha Udvega Adhir Mada Kalir Vyasanam Samprayasa Pumsam Kilaikanta Divyam Swakanam Ya Sampado Dvibhumo Rasayam Narati Yadvesha Udvega Adir Mada Kalir Vyasanam Samprayasa. Please repeat after me. Pumsam, unto persons. Kila, certainly. Ekanta dhyam, who are advanced in spiritual consciousness. Swakanam, who are recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as His own. Ya, which, sampada, opulences, divi, in the upper planetary systems, bhumao, in the middle planetary systems, rasayam, and in the lower planetary systems, na, not, rati, bestows, yat, from which, dvesha, envy, udvega, anxiety, adi, mental agitation, mada, pride, kale, quarrel, vyasanam, distress due to loss, samprayasa, great endeavor. Translation. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of His lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as His own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of upper, lower or middle planetary systems of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride and belligerence. Thus one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasha. As devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Both Indra and Vritasura were certainly devotees of the Lord. Although Indra took instructions from Vishnu to kill Vritasura, the Lord was actually more favorable to Vritasura because after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vritasura would go back to Godhead, whereas the victorious Indra would rot in the material world. Because both of them were devotees, the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions they wanted. Vritasura never wanted material possessions, for he knew very well the nature of possessions. To accumulate material possessions, one must labor very hard. And when he gets them, he creates many enemies because this material world is always full of rivalry. If one becomes rich, his friends or relatives are envious. For Ekanta Bhaktas, unalloyed devotees, Krishna therefore never provides material possessions. A devotee sometimes needs some material possessions for preaching, but the possessions of preacher are not like those of karmis. A karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to facilitate his devotional activities. Because the devotee never uses material possessions for any purpose other than the service of the Lord, the possessions of a devotee are not to be compared to those of a karmi. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamisham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamischa. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter. The chapter is entitled The Transcendental Qualities of Vritasura. So in this particular verse, this is spoken by Vritasura, one of the demons. It's actually very wonderful. After we understand this verse is spoken by a demon, let's read the verse again. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of His lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as His own personal associate, assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of upper, lower or middle planetary systems of this material world. When one possesses material opulence in any of these 3 divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. A very wonderful wisdom is imparted in this particular verse. So this is the words spoken by Vritasura on the battlefield when he is having battle with Indra. That is the time when he is speaking this verse. Now just to give the brief history, what is being spoken here in this verse is actually the basis of this entire episode in Srimad Bhagavatam, the battle between Indra and Vritasura. Few chapters before this particular chapter is described how this whole episode begins. So I explained that once Indra was sitting in his court, surrounded by the demigods, the Rudras, the Marutas, and different kinds of Siddhas and Charanas, they were all sitting around him and praising him. And he was enjoying, as a king of heavenly planets, he was enjoying. Perhaps also there was some dancing of the Apsaras going on. So at that moment, the guru of Indra, Brihaspati, he enters in the assembly. Now when a spiritual personality or a spiritual master enters into the assembly, it's the duty of a disciple to get up and welcome him. Offer some sweet words, offer respects to him, offer a seat, and appropriate way worship the spiritual master. But Indra, because he was sitting, so many people were praising him, and such powerful personalities as Rudras and Marutas and different demigods, they were sitting beside him, with full reverence to Indra. So Indra had some pride. Oh, Brihaspati, a Brahmana has come to my door. So he didn't even care to look at Brihaspati. He completely neglected. He saw Brihaspati, not that he didn't see. He saw and purposefully neglected to offer respects and worship to his guru. Now Brihaspati is the guru of demigods. He's a Brahmana. And he's very intelligent. He can simply understand through the body language, oh, this person is trying to neglect me. Now it's not that Brihaspati just wanted to be honored and respected, but just because it's the etiquette, social etiquette, that when a superior personality comes, one has to show respect. And Brihaspati understood that because Indra has, as Vritasva explains here, when one possesses material opulence in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride. So Indra was proud. Because he was possessing the opulence, he had become proud. So there in pride he's thinking, I don't need to show any respect to Brihaspati. So Brihaspati understood that and he left the assembly. And the moment Brihaspati left the assembly, of course he left in displeased manner. So Indra is also intelligent. He understands the body language. So he realized, oh, I have displeased Brihaspati. I have displeased my spiritual. And then he came back to his senses. Momentarily he was proud. First he thought, oh, I don't need to show any respect. But the moment he saw that Brihaspati is displeased, he came back to his senses. And he started contemplating that to hell with this opulence. I had this opulence, and in opulence I forgot to show respect to my spiritual master. This opulence has caused great pride in me. And I am considered the leader. All these people are sitting beside me and praising me. And they're looking up to me as a leader. To hell with such leadership. Such leaders are no better than, he gives actually a beautiful example. He says, such leaders are actually like a stone boat. A boat is required to cross the ocean, right? To cross the water body. If you want to cross the river or ocean, you need a boat, right? Similarly, when there is able leadership in the society, people can actually achieve insurmountable difficulties. Any leadership you take, you take the leadership in general in society, if the country has a good leader, no matter whatever kind of problems the country may go through, if the leader is real well-wisher of people, who has roots in devotional service, he can actually make people come out of all the difficulties and attain the ultimate goal of life. Similarly, even a small institution like we have a spiritual institution, right? In the spiritual institution also, when there are problems, if there is able leadership, that leadership can actually make people cross. That's a function of the board, and that's the same function of the leadership. So Indra is saying that such leaders who are proud and puffed up because of their possessions, material possessions, they are no better than Ashma Plava. Ashma means stone and Plava means boat. So they are no better than a stone boat. Just what happens if you ride in a stone boat? The stone boat cannot sustain on the water. It will sink very swiftly. And all the people who ride in such a boat will go along with the boat. No? So Indra realized that I have done a great mistake. So he went chasing, running behind Brihaspati, no, to look after him. And Brihaspati, he understood that Brihaspati went to his home. And he realized that Indra is coming. So, realizing that Indra is coming just to teach him a lesson, that he shouldn't be proud again, Brihaspati disappeared from his home. Didn't want to have any audience with him. You know? Now, naturally, he'll come and say, I'm sorry, he'll fall at my feet. No. But let me teach him a lesson, so that he shouldn't be proud again. So, Brihaspati, he didn't want to chastise him, but just disappeared. No. Silent treatment. Sometimes it happens, right, in the family life also. When there's a quarrel between husband and wife, if wife is not speaking anything, that's like a treatment to the husband, doesn't speak anything at all. So similarly, Brihaspati wanted to give silent treatment. He didn't really wanted to have any audience with Indra. And he disappeared for quite some time. He disappeared. It was, very long time. Now we should understand that demigods, they get their powers. They get their strength. Whatever powers they have to rule the whole creation. Because when you want to rule, there are a lot of obstacles going to be there, right? A lot of people will be inimical towards you, as Vritasura very precisely explains. That increases enmity. People become envious of you. So there are a lot of demons who are envious of Indra. So to cut down the enemies, to subdue the enemies, you need power, you need strength. And demigods get their strength by the performance of yajna. And yajna is performed by a able priest. And Brihaspati is the priest of demigods. So when Brihaspati disappeared, there was no performance of yajna. And Indra became very weak. The demigods became very weak. And demons realized it. Oh, now there is no more performance of yajna and demigods have become weak. So, immediately attacked. Attacked and defeated the demigods. Actually, demigods ran away. They couldn't face the demons' strength. And then the demigods, they actually took the shelter of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu or Narayan. They offered prayers to Lord Narayan, beautiful prayers that, my dear Lord, please, you are the only protector for it. Because whenever demigods are in trouble, they turn to Lord Narayan. So they turned to Lord Narayan, and Lord Narayan was very much pleased with their prayers, and he appeared in front of them. Actually, they first went to Lord Brahma. They went to actually Brahma. Later on, they prayed to Lord Narayan. But first, they went to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, he understood that the demigods have done the mistake. So he chastised them. Because he's the grandfather, loving grandfather. So he chastised them. He said, Indra, you have become so much proud and puffed up that you neglect even your own spiritual master. When he walks in your assembly, you didn't even pay attention or respects to him. This is a serious transgression of etiquette. And this is the deep mode of ignorance. Because just imagine, not showing respect, people generally a person who may be in the mode of passion, he may think, if I don't show respect to somebody, that means I am great. People will think that I am great. I don't need to show respect to anyone. But if you try to see from ordinary people's point of view, if a person is not showing respect to anyone and expects everyone respecting him, the person looks very ugly. Actually speaking, the person looks very ugly to ordinary eyes. That, this person is so puffed up, he's so proud. So pride doesn't make us... The pride doesn't make us attractive, it makes us ugly in the eyes of others. You know? So Brahma chastised Indra. He said, this is nonsense. You know. But you need some priest, so now you should go and accept a Brahmana named Vishwarup. He is son of Tvashta Muni. You should accept him as your priest. But let me give you a warning. Tvashta Muni, he is from demigod side. But the wife of Tvashta Muni, she is from the demoniac family. She is from the demoniac race. So Vishwarup is son of a demigod, but his mother is from demon side. So he has naturally affection for you demigods, and he also has affection for demons. So if he exhibits some affection for demons, don't get angry at him. Just tolerate it. Okay? So demigod said yes. And then they went to Vishwarup. They pleaded to Vishwarup that please, Vishwarup was a young boy, but he was a capable Brahmana, capable of performing. He was actually a self-realized soul. They went and pleaded that please accept our priesthood, you become our priest, our guru, and perform the yajnas for us. The Vishwarup said, priesthood is not considered very good profession because, in priesthood, you are dependent on the charity of your host. And therefore you feel obliged to them. And I really don't like priesthood, but because you all are my uncles, they were like brothers of Tvashta Muni. So because you are my uncles, how can I neglect your request? I must accept it. Though I don't like to be priest, but I will accept it. Just for the benefit of all of you. And that's actually very true. There are people in this world, maybe truly Brahmanas, but they're eager. They're eager to possess the material opulence. So therefore they happily accept the priesthood. And which is sanctioned by the Vedas, by the Vedic scriptures, sanctioned for the Brahmanas to accept the priesthood. Because when you go as a priest, when you perform some ritual, say for, people who want to get married, so there has to be a priest who performs the marriage ritual. And it's expected by the people who take the service from the priest to offer some dakshina, some charity to the Brahmana. And generally the priesthood is not very much appreciated in the scriptures as the first-class Brahmanas. The first-class Brahmanas, they simply go, they don't even go for begging from door to door. Uccha vritti is considered the first-class profession for the Brahmanas, which is nothing but when the field is harvested. In the Vedic culture there used to be there, but nowadays you can't do that. When the field is harvested, so the farmer will take away all the grains, whatever was harvested, but he can't collect all the grains. A lot of grains are left on the ground. They are spread, So Brahmana would go and collect one by one those grains, which is left anyway for the birds or just left by the farmer. He doesn't care about those grains. He would just go and collect those grains from the field. That means he's not begging also from anyone. He's just collecting from the whatever is left out. And that was considered the first-class profession for the Brahmanas. Doesn't depend on anyone, doesn't feel obliged to anyone. But Vishwarup accepted. He said, because you all are my superiors, I'll accept your request. And he started performing yajnas for the demigods. And soon, he actually there's a whole chapter describing Narayan Kavach shield. There's a protective armor in the form of mantras. Because Vishwarupa was a self-realized soul. So he understood that Lord Narayan is ultimately the protector of everyone. So by his realizations, he actually created an armor which is in the form of sound vibration through the hymns. And that whole hymn is described in the chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. And through this Narayan Kavach shield, he made Indra very powerful. And Indra actually went and conquered all the demons and claimed all his possessions back. And all the demigods again started flourishing. Now, Indra was naturally indebted to Vishwarup, but Vishwarup, though he was performing the yajna on behalf of demigods, he would loudly chant, Idam Indraya Swaha, this is meant for Indra, Idam Agnaya, this is meant for Agni. No? He would chant loudly those mantras so that demigods could hear. But then silently within his mind, he would also offer oblations in the name of demons. Because he was a well-wisher. He was not inimical or partial to both of them. He wanted well-being for both of them. You also flourish, you also flourish. Win-win solution. But the moment Indra realized that this is happening, he became very fearful that if the demons become again powerful, then I'll be the loser. No? So he became very angry at Vishwarup. He was warned by Brahma, but he forgot that warning. And he took out the sword, and Vishwarup had 3 heads. No? He was a human being, but he had 3 heads. With one head he used to drink soma juice, with one he used to drink wine, with one head he used to eat food. So Indra went and cut off all the 3 heads of Vishwarup and killed him. Now Vishwarup was a Brahmana. Killing a Brahmana is strictly forbidden in the scriptures. No matter who you are, killing a Brahmana is a very heinous act, which creates a severe reaction, sinful reaction for a person who's involved in that crime. Actually, killing human life itself is a big crime. People don't realize in today's day and age, because people are not really trained. Forget about human beings, even killing an animal is a serious crime. There are injunctions in the scriptures for killing the animals. A person has to go to Raurava or Maharaurava. Bhagavatam 5th canto describes. The killers of animals, they go to the Maharaurava. Where the extremely envious Ruru animals, which are very envious and ferocious animals, they rip off the flesh from the body of the person. So when a living entity goes to that hellish planet, Maharaurava, he's given a body. If just imagine, in this world, if an animal attacks a human being, simply puts his teeth on the neck, the person will die, right? That's what the animals do generally. When the lion or tiger, whenever they capture an animal, they try to put their teeth in the neck, because that's a crucial part. But in the hellish planet, the living entity is given a body. No matter where the animals rip off your body, you don't die. You don't die so easily. You continue suffering. No? So Indra, when he killed Vishwarup, he realized that he has killed a Brahmana. So the sinful reactions of killing a Brahmana chased Indra, and Indra actually accepted voluntarily. He knew that he had done mistake, so he accepted it. And he suffered for 1 year. No? And at the end of 1 year, that suffering of 1 year was not enough. The sinful reaction was still going on. So he decided to distribute that sinful reaction to different living entities. You can do that sometime, but at the cost of giving some benedictions. So, I have strength, I can give some benedictions, so I give you some benediction. In return, you take this sinful reaction from me. So he distributed the sinful reaction to 4 different entities and gave them some benedictions in return. And Srila Prabhupada actually explains that one portion of sinful reaction was given to the earth. The earth accepted the 1/4 of the reaction of killing the Brahmanas, Vishwarup. And Indra gave benediction to earth in return that wherever any pit would be dug in the earth, in the due course of time, it will automatically get filled up. Even if there is no endeavor made, it will get filled up in due course of time. And you can try actually. If you want, if you have your home, just go and dig a pit in the backyard. And go after a month. Probably you won't see the pit. It's true that the pits get covered up in due course of time. And 1/4 of reaction was given to the water. The water accepted 1/4 of the reaction that, and as a result of that sinful reaction, the earth, you see the deserts on the earth, which is nothing but the result of that killing of Vishwarup. And Srila Prabhupada actually explained that people who live in the deserts, they have some karma to contribute or to partake the karma of killing the Brahmana. So those who live in the deserts actually are the people who have, some karma on their head of killing a Brahmana. Therefore they live in the deserts. Similarly, water, the water accepted the 1/4 of the reaction, that whenever water is added to anything, the volume will increase of that thing. It will increase the volume of that thing. Like, milk, you add the water, doesn't look like water is added, it looks like milk is increased. Juice or any kind of liquid, you take the water and add it, it increases the volume of it. And in return, the water has bubble and foam. So bubble is not considered very good in the water. If you drink the water with bubbles, that's like partaking of the killing of Brahmana. 1/4 of the reaction. And 1/4 was given to earth, water and trees. Trees accepted 1/4 of the reaction of killing the Brahmana. The Indra offered them benediction that whenever you trim the branches and twigs of a tree, they will again grow in due course of time. And the result of a sinful reaction is that the trees have sap. They have sap coming out of the trees. And therefore, the scriptures forbid to drink the sap of the tree. And 4th portion was given to women in general. Women accepted that portion. And as a result of that, the scriptures explain the menstrual periods appeared in the women. And they also got some benediction from Indra in return. So in this way, Indra became free from all the benediction. By giving these benediction, he became free from the sinful reaction of killing the Brahmana. But the father of Vishwarup, he became very angry. He was a demigod, he was from demigod side, but he saw the heinous act of Indra. He became very angry. And he performed a yajna with a desire to have a son who can kill Indra. So he performed the yajna, and from the yajna, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained, when he was performing yajna, he chanted some mantra with little wrong meter. Meter is, where which word has to be given emphasis. Depending on that, the meaning of the sentence can change. Of course, we have most of the people, they know only English language, which is very monotonous language, doesn't have much meter and all. But you can still understand. Say, for example, I say, I'm going to New York. Right? It's a plain sentence. But if you want, you can emphasize it somewhere. I am going to New York. Not you. I am going to New York. Or I can say, I am going to New York. I'm not coming from New York. I am going to New York. Or if I say, I am going to New York, means I'm not going to Chicago. I'm not going to Florida. I'm going to New York. Right? So by emphasizing the different words, you can change the meaning. And in the Vedas, when you perform a yajna, the meter actually has a great significance. So Twashta Muni, he chanted mantra that I should have a son, or the demon should be born from this fire who will kill Indra. But the meaning, because of his improper chanting, happened to be the son who will be killed by Indra. No. So, when he performed this yajna from the southern side of the fire, a great demon arose. And that demon was none other than Vritasura. So this Vritasura was born from the yajna fire of Twashta Muni. And it's described when he was born from the fire, he was very huge in size. Very huge. Probably you can see the picture of Vritasura. Some devotee has painted the beautiful picture of Vritasura. Here, this is how he appeared. From the fire of Tashtani, holding a huge trident in the hand, had a beard and long hair and mustache of copper color. You will hear the description from the scriptures that whenever the demon's description is given, they generally have, long, hair, and the hair are generally of the color of copper, the reddish color. That's liked by the demons. Sometimes you see here also people want to color their hair into red and all. But so this Vritasura, he appeared, and because he was so huge that he practically, by his size, he covered all the directions. Therefore his name became Vrita. Vrita means, who covers everything. Avrita means to cover. So Vrita means he practically covered all the directions by his size. And Asura means demon. So he was known as Vritasura because of his huge size. Getting the instructions from, his father Twashta Muni, he took all the demons together and went to fight. Went to fight with demigods. And went to fight with the demigods. Indra came, riding on his Airavata, because they were very powerful now because of the Narayan Kavach, and all the blessings they had received because of Vishwarup. They were very powerful. And they started attacking the demon. The demons first attacked the demigods, and demigods neutralized all their weapons and started attacking them. And the demons, when they saw that all our weapons were neutralized, that means we don't have anything else now. Just imagine. America is very proud of their nuclear weapons, right? So they shoot a nuclear missile on some country, and the country neutralizes it. Some way or other, before even the weapon reaches the country, they destroy that weapon. They'll be fearful. Oh, these people have more advanced technology. So demons actually became very much afraid. Seeing that demigods, they have neutralized all their weapons, they started running away from the battlefield. Though Vritasura was their leader in front, they started running away. And Vritasura calling them, listen, my dear demons, don't run away. Don't run away. Because this battlefield is a great benediction for anyone. If you die here, you go to heavenly planets. You attain anyway heavenly planets. If you die on this battlefield. And if you win, you enjoy. You enjoy the worldly opulence anyway. So don't run away. It's actually very unglorious to run away from the battlefield. But the demons had lost all their courage. They didn't care to listen anything from Vritasura. They were running away. And Vritasura, he was not willing to run away. He was there firmly fixed that I am going to be on the battlefield. So all the demigods, and actually by the courage of Vritasura, all the demigods, they actually became very much, he started crushing by his size, started crushing all the demigods, started eating them. So many of them, they actually got killed. And Indra, he used all his weapons and nothing could actually work on the Vritasura because he was born from Yajna. None of the weapons could work on him. So all the demigods actually became afraid and ran away. Now they took shelter of Lord Vishnu. They started praying to Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan. And Lord Narayan appeared. He appeared to Indra and all the demigods. He said, my dear demigods, don't worry. Your weapons will not work on the Vritasura because he is born from Yajyak fire. But you should all go to Dadichi Muni. Dadichi Muni, he is the same person who had given the Narayan Kavacha. He is the one who had actually given Narayan Kavacha mantra or prayers to Twashta Muni. And Twashta Muni had passed it to his son, Vishwarup, from whom you had got, Indra, you had received the Narayan Kavach prayers. So because of the chanting of Narayan Kavach prayers, Dadichi Muni's body is actually very strong. And he is a self-realized soul. When you go and beg the charity from him, his body is a charity from him, he will definitely give you. You don't beg it through Ashwini Kumarats. And he will surely give. And once he gives his body, Vishwakarma will make a thunderbolt, a weapon from the bones of Dadichi Muni. And with that weapon, you will surely be able to kill Vritasura. So Lord Vishnu assured him that you will surely be able to kill through this thunderbolt, this demon Vritasura. Because Indra had lost all the courage because none of the weapons were working on the demon. So in this way Lord Narayan assured him. So they went to Dadichi Muni and they offered prayers to Dadichi Muni, please, we need your body. So Dadichi Muni, he already decided to give his body. But he wanted to joke with demigods. He wanted to hear some words of detachment, So he told the demigods, what? You want my body? How can you even ask somebody his body, Don't you know that people, they would like to preserve their body at the cost of even spending all their possessions. That's true, Just imagine if you have a little pain in the finger and the doctor says the finger has to be cut off. You say, no. You'll be fearful, right? I'll spend, otherwise you have to do very costly operation. I will do the costly operation, no problem. You lose all your money, no problem. Let me lose all the money. I'll perform the operation, but don't cut off my finger, right? So Dadichi Muni said, people will spend their possessions to just maintain this body, even if Lord Vishnu came in front of them. Who would like to give his body to Vishnu? No, nobody would like to give. So demigods started speaking, the wisdom of detachment, which Dadichi Muni wanted to hear. That, for self-realized soul, this body is nothing. They are speaking this, but, they are attached to have victory in the... and have the opulences, So Dadichi Muni started laughing. He said, yes, that's what you're saying is true. For self-realized soul, this body is not really important. And a great soul would never ever, san nimitte varam tyago. Prabhupada quotes the verse from Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit says, san nimitte varam tyago. This body is going to anyway deteriorate and fall, no matter how much you try to keep it. But if you can give up this body for some higher cause, san nimitte means for some superior cause. Even if you have to give up this body, it's okay. You should do it. So Dadichi Muni gave his body. In fact, he sat in the yogic posture and he separated his soul from the body. He didn't even realize how that happened. And then Vishwakarma took the bones of Dadichi Muni and created the weapon for Indra. And Indra, holding that weapon in the hand, and all the demigods with great rejuvenation, they again went to fight with Vritasura. And Vritasura is, standing and fighting with Indra, practically alone. Of course, he had conquered, but, this time also the demigods seeing the strength of demigods, especially the strength of Indra's thunderbolt. That's how Indra first received the thunderbolt. The demigods ran away, and Vritasura was again just fighting alone with the demigods. And the demons were actually, when they were running away, the demigods were shooting the weapons from behind to kill them. So Vritasura, he actually chastised the demigod. He said, why you are killing them from behind? When a person is running away in fear, you should not kill them from behind. I am standing in front of you. Come and fight with me. In fact, Vritasura, he chastised Indra that now I'm standing in front of the person who has killed his own guru, who has killed a Brahmana. In fact, you are the one same person who has killed my brother, Vishwarup. Vishwarup was just helping you. He was trying to help you and he was performing yajnas on behalf of you. And you are such a heinous person. You are such a low-class person that you killed him. No. So Indra, in great anger, he first threw his club, not the thunderbolt, but he threw the club at Vritasura. But Vritasura very easily caught hold of the club and threw back at Indra. No? It actually hit very badly the Airavata on the face. And Airavata was thrown away 15 yards away, And Indra fell from the back of Airavata, and Airavata was bleeding in great pain. And Indra was astonished, seeing the strength of Vritasura. He was completely astonished. He was standing morose with thunderbolt in the hand. He lost all the faith that even thunderbolt will work. And that's when Vritasura, because he was, though a demon, as you can see from his instructions here, he was a great devotee. He told Indra, my dear Indra, why you are standing so morose with thunderbolt? No. Don't you remember the words of Lord Narayan? He had given you benediction that with this thunderbolt you will be able to kill me. Know one thing for sure, the words of Narayan will never fail. Though your attack with the club has failed, like a person may go begging charity from a person, from a miserly person. If you go to a miserly person and beg charity, you know what is going to come. Right? Some devotee had told some anecdote. Said one miserly person, This actually I remember in school textbook we had this small lesson. There was a miserly person. He was a very rich man, but miserly person. Would never give charity. So once he goes to the bank of Ganga, taking bath in Ganga. So one Brahmana sees, he's taking bath in Ganga. This is a good time, I should go and catch him and ask some charity. So he goes. He said, my dear Yajaman, you are taking bath in Ganga. This is a good time to give charity. So give some charity. This is a Brahmana standing in front of you. And the person who was miserly said, oh my God, I'm stuck today, I have to. He has caught me at the wrong place. So he thought, I have to have something to avoid this. So he said, what kind of Brahmana are you? Don't even have chandan in the hand. Brahmana puts chandan, tika and then asks charity, The Brahmana said, I don't have any chandan, but no, I'm not going to let him go this time. So he picked up some dirt from Ganga. He said, Ganga ji ki renu ko chandan karke jaan. So this is like Ganga ji's mud, you should consider it as chandan. And put him tika on the head. He said, now give some charity. He says, I'm stuck now, I have to give charity. So he saw around, what to give. So there was a small frog in the Ganges. So he captured the frog. And he said, Ganga ji ki menki ko tu gau karke maar. The frog from the Ganges you should consider as cow. Take this cow charity. So if you go to a miserly person, you know what is coming, Nothing will come. So Vritasura said, though your club has failed, like asking charity from a miser, but know for sure, the thunderbolt will not fail. No? And that's when he's actually speaking these instructions, He told Indra, you will be victorious. Either you will be victorious, don't be morose. There can be only two results from this battlefield. Either I will kill you and satisfy my brother Vishwarup, whom you have killed, or you will kill me and you will enjoy the victory. and glory. So don't be morose. There are only going to be two outcomes of this battlefield, And he says, if I die, in fact, I desire that, I may die and attain the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Narada Muni. And attain the lotus feet of the Lord. The only desire I have is that I should attain the lotus feet of my spiritual master and the service to the Vaishnavas. And Indra is hearing these instructions, these prayers of Vritasura, and he is stunned. Demons don't speak this language. And this is one of the instructions he is speaking. The persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of his lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as his own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulence of the upper, lower or middle planetary systems in the material world. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, sometime when a devotee who is immature, he worships Krishna, but he asks Krishna, give me some material opulence or worldly enjoyment. So he says, what does Krishna think about this person? Just imagine, sometimes devotees go and ask Krishna, please, I want this, I want that, I want this. Actually, I remember when many years ago I used to live in Chopari temple. A small boy would come every day because we had a school beneath the temple. Near the temple we had a school. So many boys, many children would come every day in the morning to take darshan. So one boy would come every day with closed eyes, with intense, he would pray to Krishna, to Radha Gopinath. So one day one brahmachari asked him, I see you every day you come and you pray to God with intensity. Please God give me. What you are praying for? You want to hear what he said? He said, I am praying that I may get new pencil and eraser. Just imagine. Many times we also go and ask pencil and erasers from Krishna. For Krishna that's actually, anything you ask from this world is actually pencil and eraser, nothing more than that. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna thinks of that person. He says, beautifully describes that. Ama bhaje, what he says? Ama bhaje mage vishay sukh. Amrita chhadi vishay mage ei bada murg. This person is worshipping me and in return he is asking some vishay sukh, some material enjoyment. And I can give love of God, that is Amrita. I can give him Amrita, but he is leaving Amrita and he is asking for wish. He is asking for poison. Ei murkha, ami vigya. He is fool, but I am not a fool. I am an intelligent person. Krishna thinks in that way. Ei murkha, ami vigya, vishaya keno diva. Why should I give him vishaya? Why should I give him that poison? Swacharnamrita diva, vishaya bulaiba. I'll give him the nectar of my own lotus feet and make him forget the poison of the material enjoyment. So actually, Krishna never bestows upon his devotee the material opulence. Srila Prabhupada actually explains beautifully in the purport that the opulence or possessions a devotee has is different. Though it may appear to be same, but it is different. That opulence is given by Krishna. And opulence can be of many different types. Similarly, Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur in that beautiful song, Vaishnava Ke song, he says that Pratishta, the fame also, people are hankering in this world for fame. But he explained, what is the worldly fame? It's actually opulence. People think it's opulence. If a person is famous, it's opulence. But that worldly fame and the hankering for that worldly fame, Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur says, is actually no better than the stool of a hog. Now just imagine all of the things of this world, he compares that as a stool of the hog. What does a pig eat? He eats human stool. And what is rejected in his body becomes his stool. the most obnoxious thing you can think of, And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, desire to have worldly fame is nothing but the stool of a hog. Shukarera Vishta. Pratishta, he says, Dushtaman tumhi kishiram Vaishnavam Pratishtharatarem Nirajanagharem Tava Hari Nama Kevala Kaitam. He says, you're trying to even chant the names of Krishna simply to get recognition, that people should recognize me as a devotee. Actually speaking, if we try to take analysis of our own intentions, what we think throughout the day, do we really think of service to Krishna? No. We may chant, but many times the chanting is nothing but for many people it's nothing but a social obligation. At least people should recognize me as a devotee. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is saying that, my dear mind, you are just a cheater. You're trying to cheat others. But a devotee, he says, the recognition that devotee gets, Vaishnavera Pratishtha, Tate Koro Nishtha. He says, the fame or the recognition that a devotee gets is not a worldly fame. It's not like the worldly opulence. Tate Kobo Nahi, Mayara Vaibhav. It's not the opulence offered by Maya. The opulence that is offered by Maya generally degrades a person. The general rule, Prabhupada actually mentions as one of the purpose, he says, the general rule of this world is, when a person possesses any opulence, it will become the cause of his degradation. That's a general rule. So a person who has opulence offered by Maya will definitely cause his degradation through pride, through anxiety, through mental agitation. In some form or other, it will cause the degradation of the person. So Vritasura actually encouraged Indra. He told him, that because Lord Narayan has promised, his will be executed. So you just use this thunderbolt and kill me. You are going to be victorious in this battle. That is the decision of Lord Narayan. Like Sanjaya also says in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Durvani Tirmatir Mama. My opinion is, wherever there is Krishna, wherever devotee like Arjuna is there, the victory, fame, all the good fortune, good policies or diplomacy will all be there. It's actually very wonderful, to contemplate. Sanjaya says, Durva Niti. Niti also will be there. Niti means the good politics. Niti is considered actually good politics. So good politics will also be there. And actually true, Many times people, when they hear the incidents of Mahabharata where Arjuna is killing Bhishma, right? When Bhishma actually keeps aside his bow and arrow, he kills the Bhishma. The same way he kills actually Karna. Karna was actually in helpless condition. When he killed Karna. So, but you never hear that Arjuna is condemned, that the way he killed Bhishma or the way he killed Karna. No. He's never condemned. In fact, he's glorified. Dhruva Niti. So, and Sanjay says that the good politics will also be there. Good Niti will also be there. Wherever Krishna and his devotees are there. So, being inspired by Vritasura, Indra picked up his thunderbolt. And with great rejuvenation, he started fighting them. And before he could actually attack Vritasura took up his trident and threw at Indra. And Indra easily cut it off with thunderbolt because he developed the faith now in thunderbolt by the words of devotee. Krishna told him, Narayan told him, but he still lost faith. But when devotee reminded him, Vritasura reminded him, he developed faith again in the words of Lord Narayan. And with that faith, he actually cut off the thunderbolt and also cut off the arm of Vritasura. One of the arm of Vritasura he cut off. So actually also a good instruction in one way, that this is the significance of hearing from the Vaishnavas or devotees. We hear, we read from the Bhagavatam, but we forget. We forget the words of Krishna. But when we come in the association of devotees, we are reminded. We are reminded the glories of Krishna. And then we again develop the faith. We again develop the same enthusiasm and rejuvenation. So Vritasura's one of the hand was cut off, but he still didn't become morose. With another hand, he again took another weapon, perhaps club or something, and he threw at Airavata. And again, Airavata was completely puzzled, and Indra again fell from the back of Airavata, and a thunderbolt went away from his hand, fell somewhere. And again Indra became very morose. He was feeling ashamed, how can I even pick up? But Vritasura did not attack him. He again counseled him. He said, my dear Indra, don't worry. Why are you feeling again morose? The Lord is on your side. Lord has already decided that you are going to be victorious. So don't feel morose. There is no point to be feeling morose on the battlefield. Pick up the weapon. See, you have already cut off one of my arm. You have already overwhelmed me by your power. But do you see me morose? Pick up your weapon and you will be victorious. So Indra picked up again the thunderbolt, and this time when Vritasura again whirled his weapon, Indra cut off that weapon and he cut off another arm of Vritasura as well. And Vritasura looked very beautiful with both the arms cut off from his body. He was huge in size and the blood was oozing from both the sides. He looked like a dark mountain, from which the lava was coming out. That's the analogy given by the acharyas. The dark mountain, the lava coming out from there. But Vritasura still didn't feel discouraged. In fact, he opened his mouth, he kept his jaw on the ground, and with his mouth he swallowed Indra along with thunderbolt. And Indra went inside the belly of Vritasura. He actually ate him. And when the demigods and everyone saw this, they became very fearful. Alas, alas. Even Brahma started saying, oh my God, Indra is dead. Because demon eats you means he'll be digested in the belly of demon. But because Indra had Narayan Kavach, therefore he did not die in the belly of Vritasura. And Vritasura actually lay down. Vishwanath Jogi Thakur explains, Vritasura actually lay down on the ground and he thought that he had already killed Indra now. So he went in samadhi and he gave up his body. He left his body on his own will as a yogi. And Indra, of course, came out, cutting off the belly of Vritasura. He came out and he was still afraid. He was not aware that Vritasura is dead. He has already left his body. So he took the thunderbolt and started cutting the head of Vritasura. With great strength and speed, he was trying to cut off the head of Vritasura. But Shukadeva Goswami explains, it took one celestial year for him, not celestial actually, 1 year on earthly planet. It took 1 year for him to cut the head of Vritasura. That's the time when the Surya completes his course, northern and southern course, complete course. It took entire 1 year for Indra to cut the head of Vritasura. And of course, again, Vritasura was born from Tashta Muni, so he was Brahmana. So Indra had another Brahmana's killing on his head. And of course, Shukadeva Goswami explains that Indra suffered a great deal on account of killing Vritasura. Not so much on the account of killing Vishwarup, but on account of killing Vritasura, because he was a Vaishnava also. He suffered a great deal. He had to hide, running away from the sinful reactions of killing a Brahmana or Vritasura or a Vaishnava. And the details are given in Mahabharata how he suffered. But Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami gives a brief, in few sentences he explained that He had to hide in a stem of a lotus flower, And his wife suffered a great deal at the hands of Nahusha, Because that time, when Indra was absent from the heavenly planets, hiding from the sinful reactions, Nahusha became the king of heavenly planets. So his wife also suffered a great deal, But this is the result of material opulence, as Vritasura explains here. That when one possesses material opulence in any of the three divisions of the universe, that means whether on earth or in heaven or in the lower planetary systems, his possession naturally increases his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. This is the sum and substance. The more one possesses in this material world, the assets of this material world, the more it will create difficulties and anxieties. Because when you don't have anything, nobody really bothers you, right? In the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna gives a beautiful example to Uddhava in his instructions. He explains that Avadhut Brahmana, giving instruction to Yadu Maharaj, in that Avadhut Brahmana explains that one of the lessons he learned from the 24 gurus was a hawk, a bird. A hawk was once holding a piece of flesh in his mouth. And so many hawks were flying behind him, ready to kill him just to get the piece of flesh from him. So the hawk was running here and there, all the birds are flying behind him. And he's flying, and finally he gets so tired because he's running. He's holding the flesh also. He doesn't want to leave the food. At the same time, he's tired of running. He can't even enjoy it. So he finally threw the flesh down, and all the birds stopped chasing him. And he sat down in one place. Great relief. And all the birds started fighting again with each other and left him alone. So he explained that a person, when he has some worldly opulence, so many people become actually envious of him to take it away. In any form you have opulence, people will be inimical towards you. But if you don't have anything, nobody really bothers you. Somebody was telling an anecdote that once a person went to a Jochi. He was having great difficulty in finances, so he went to a Jochi. He said, I have a tough time. He said, you have Shani is this and Rahu is here, and therefore there's a lot of difficulty. You have to do some yajna. Big yajna we have to do. You have to give $5,000. He said, $5,000? I don't have $5,000. Oh, you don't have $5,000? Okay, give $1,000. I'll perform yajna in shortcut and we'll do something. But I don't have even $1,000. No 1,000? No. Okay, give $101. I will just chant some mantras and that will give great relief. He said, I don't have $100 also. You have $11? No, I don't have even $11. He said, then go, what Shani and Rahu will do to you? You don't even have $11. They can't do anything to you. And that's true. If you don't have anything, who can do what to you? But the moment a person has something substantial materially, all the problems begin. But of course, Srila Prabhupada explains, a devotee, he also gets possessions just to facilitate his service. Srila Prabhupada, towards the end of his life, he got so much opulence, so many temples, so much money flowing, so many devotees. But that was all to facilitate just one purpose, the service to the Supreme Lord. So that more and more people of this world can be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. And that possession is actually not material. That's arranged by Krishna and is protected by Krishna. And that's the only purpose of opulence. A devotee doesn't care for opulence or possessions. Like Srila Prabhupada teaches, utility is the principle. So as long as we can utilize something in Krishna's service, we possess it. But something that we cannot utilize for service of Krishna, we reject it. That's a simple principle. And if you see, everything in this creation is trying to teach us the same principle. That if you can use everything in Krishna service, use it. If you can't, then reject it. At least one time, Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture, and one person started challenging Srila Prabhupada. He said, why you are saying no meat eating? God has made everything for us to eat. So animals are also made for us. God has made everything for us to eat. Prabhupada said, God has made also a stool. Would you like to eat it? And the person became speechless. So fact is, whatever can be used in Krishna's service, we use it. And whatever cannot, it's actually a material opulence. It's only hindrance. It will create only anxiety, enmity, mental agitation, as explained by Vratasura here. So that's the sum and substance of this particular verse. We'll stop here if anyone has any questions. Yes, Prabhu?
I have a question on Vishwarupa. But before that, I would like to really appreciate, this is one of the best lectures I have ever heard. In the last 8-9 years, I have been practicing Krishna consciousness in different countries, different locations. Everywhere I have been, and this is one of the finest lectures I have ever heard. Primarily because of the content, which is practically applicable to all our day-to-day lives, as well as the mesmerizing effect you are leaving through your speech. So I really appreciate it. Haribol Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question on Vishwarup's lives. Basically, I was trying to draw parallel between what he did and what's said in Bhagavad Gita, the theory of karma, the fruitless and without considering the reaction, just do your karma, the duty. So, accepting that what Indra did was definitely not correct. He killed Vishwarupa. But was it correct what Vishwarupa was doing? Being a priest, being invited by somebody for a prayer, for a worship, and he's doing that. And in addition to that, he was trying to fulfill his own emotional desire to love someone else, who is basically the intent of the opposition of the intent of the yajna itself, the demons, right? So I was just trying to draw a parallel between the duty, the karma he was supposed to do, to fight only from Indra's side, and to do everything he can do as the best to kill or to oppose the demons.
Well, we have to understand one thing, that as human beings, we are not like computers, right? If I install the Windows operating system, then all other operating systems should be shut down, right? He's a human being. Human being means we are all sentient, we have emotions, right? And he was connected to both the parties. He was connected to demigods, he was connected to demons. Sometimes people say, I'll behave in this way in the office, but at home I'll be different. No, you cannot. If you have certain mentality in the office, same mentality will prevail in your personal life as well. And whatever mentality you prevail in your personal life, that will also be reflected in your workplace. Because we are not machines. We are not like computers, Once I open the, Linux system, the Windows has to shut down. No. It's not possible. So, similarly, Vishwarup had some attachment from both the sides. And moreover, what he was desiring was well-being for both. He was not really desiring that demons should defeat the demigods or demigods should defeat the demons. His only intention was everybody should flourish. And that's actually the intention of a self-realized soul. A self-realized soul, sarvena sukhina bhavantu. Let everyone be happy. That's the verdict of Vedas as well. So, a self-realized soul, or a person who actually sees things as per the scriptural eyes, Shastra Chakshuvad, he desires well-being for everyone. For everyone. Same thing we see even in Battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma Dev. He was fighting from the side of, Duryodhan. But he didn't wish ill to Duryodhan or to Pandavas, right? He was well-wisher of both the parties. So that's actually the attitude of a self-realized soul. A person who is Krishna conscious, he is naturally well-wisher of everyone. And Vishwarup was actually a self-realized soul. So it was natural for him to desire well-being for both the parties. He was not inimical towards anyone. And as far as duty is concerned, yes, it may be considered that he was not doing something that is appropriate, silently chanting, cheating the demigods. But it was certainly not befitting, even if he's doing something wrong, to get the death punishment. That was drastic, too drastic. According to Vedas, a Brahmana should not be given death punishment in any condition. There is no death punishment for women and Brahmanas and children. No. That's the verdict of Vedas. And that makes a person, no matter who he is, heavily sinful. If a person kills a child or a woman, therefore, even acharyas have to give commentary, when Krishna kills Putana, right? Killing of Putana is a woman, right? Putana was a woman. So acharyas explain why Krishna had to kill. The first demon he's killing is actually a woman. So acharyas explain that though it is condemned or forbidden in the Vedas, Krishna decided to still kill Putana for a certain reason. Generally, in the Vedic history, you will not find a woman being killed. A woman or a Brahmana or a child is killed. No matter whatever serious crime they may do, they are not killed. Why Brahmanas? Because Brahmanas are the well-wisher of the society. They really guide the society how to go back home, back to Godhead. If for any crime you kill them, that actually closes the doors of the service that they can render. Okay? So Brahmanas are never to be killed. A Brahmana is killed, that creates serious consequences in the life of executioner. Okay? Does that make sense? Though it was definitely not appropriate on part of Vishwarup. As a duty, it was not appropriate. Okay? Thank you. Anyone else? Welcome, Madhani. Thank you. I just repeated from Bhagavatam whatever is there.
The story of the Rishi Muni giving his skeleton for the Vajra and everything is like taught to us since beginning childhood. But this is the first time I heard the real story behind it, which led to that Vajra thing.
Yeah. So we are indebted to Srila Prabhupada for giving this Bhaktivedanta purports along with the translations. It makes it so sweet. It's so sweet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
So we will now have Guru Puja now, so we can put the books back and then.
Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bando Mui Savadhana Mate. Bando Mui Savadhana Mate. Mui Savadhana Mate. Yahar Prasade Bhai Bhavatoriya Jai. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Kya. Arna Kori Ho Mane Hasha. Arana kori ho mane asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati. ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा. ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा. चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से. चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो. प्रेमा भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते. प्रेमा भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते. वेद गाय हर चरितो. वेद पदे गाया हर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवना हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छय हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छय बेयाज घुषुक त्रिभुवन बेयाज घुषुक त्रिभुवन प्रभुपाद पतित पावन गुरुदेव लोइल शरण प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hariharaya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha, Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana, Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita, Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan, Yaha hoite Vigna Nasha Bhishta Puran, Echai Gosai Yar Mui Taradas, Kansabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas, Janame Janame Hoi Ei Abhilash, Echai Gosai Yabe Braja Koilavas, Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash, Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan, Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan, Bhaja Vrindavan, Bhaja Vrindavan, Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman, श्री गुरु वैष्णव पाद पद्म कोरियाज। हरि नाम संकीर्तन को है नरोत्तम दास। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे। जय महाप्रभु जय महाप्रभु जय महाप्रभु जय महाप्रभु। जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य ष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य ष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री मायपुर नवदीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ पुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र धाम की जय। गंगामयी यमुनामयी की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ISV यात्रा की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Thy Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for being here Saturday morning. We'd like to thank Shankarananda Prabhu for a very wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna. Balav Prabhu for taking care of the broadcast. Thank you. We'll sing Prashadam prayers and then we'll take Prashadam. Sharira Vidya Jal Jodendriya Tahe Kal जीवे पहले विषय सगोरे तार मध्ये जीभायति लोभोमय सुदुर्मति ताके जेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ दयामय तोरी बारे जिह्वा जाय स्वप्रसादन्न से अन्नामृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमे डाको श्री चैतन्य नीताय एक दिन शांतिपुरे अद्वैते राघरे दुई प्रभु भोजने बसिलो शाकोरी यशवदना प्रभु बोले भक्तगण ऐसा कृष्ण अश्वदीलो हे नो शाक अश्वदने कृष्ण प्रेम ऐसे माने से प्रेम करो अश्वदाना जड़ बुद्धि परिहारी प्रसाद भोजन कोरी हरि हरि बोलो सर्वजन सचिरंगने खाबू माधवेंद्र पुरी प्रभु साधना कोरे न भोजन खाइते खाइते तारा आइलो प्रेम सुदुर्बार बोले सुनो सन्यासी रागान मोचा घंटा भूला बड़ी डाली डालना चचड़ी सच्ची माता कोरी लो रंधन तारा शुद्ध भक्ति हैरी भोजन कोरी लो हरी सुधा समाए अन्न व्यंजन योगे योगी पाए जहा भोगे आझा बीता हरि बोली खाओ सबे भाई कृष्णेरा प्रसादन्ना त्रिजगत कोरे धन्या त्रिपुरारी नाचे जहा पा त्रिपुरारी नाचे जहा पाय महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वल्प पुण्यवतं राजन् विश्वासो न जायते प्रसादे सर्व दुःखानां हानिरसोपजायते प्रसन्न चेतो सुयाशु बुद्धि पर्यवतिष्ठते भगवत श्री महाप्रसाद की जय. Who cooked today? Most likely Bhaktavatsal Prabhu. So all glories to Bhaktavatsal Prabhu. And
we'll have prasadam in the Krishna room?
In one of the kids' rooms. Haribol. Please come take prasadam. Haribol.